During World War I, propaganda was used as an extremely powerful tool for control over the public opinion and manpower. Recruitment was a great need, and during World War I, we saw the first extensive use of propaganda posters used for recruiting. These posters became a very persuasive tool connecting the dotted lines between press, government, and public to gain national support for the war effort. Each one of the nations participating in World War I used propaganda posters not only to justify involvement to their people, but also as a means of recruitment of men, money, and resources to sustain the military campaign. In 1914, Britain did not have in place a policy of national service. Britain's government made use of propaganda to validate the war to the people, to help encourage recruitment into the armed forces, and to persuade the population that their sacrifices would be rewarded. We will start with the recruitment poster of the stern-eyed Lord Kitchener and his intimidating finger imploring the British population that your country needs you. This illustration is one of the images that has become defining of World War I and includes one of the history's most famous pointing fingers. This poster is titled, "Daddy, what did you do in the Great War?" Here we see propaganda targeting the emotional blackmail of using children to shame their fathers into fighting and joining the war. A very small detail on this poster is the choice of toy the secondary child is playing with, a toy soldier, symbolizing a future soldier. In this next poster, we see the women were also assigned the responsibility for ordering men into war. This poster titled "Women of Britain Say Go" is perhaps the most well-known poster in this genre. Rather than using a simple call to arms, the poster on the one hand pictures the women of Britain as defenseless and in need of protection, while at the same time appeals to the same women to press their men into service for king and country. Britain's propaganda did not only target the recruitment of men. The war brought new meaning to the female roles, and new posters were conveying information about how men and women could and should contribute to the war. As the war progressed, and women were needed not only in their traditional roles as nurses, but also to step into roles that were previously held exclusively by men, women were needed to work in factories and on the land. The armed services also started to be more open to having women take on auxiliary positions. This poster from 1917 depicts a woman wearing a Navy uniform standing confident. The poster invites other young women to join her with the message, "I want you for the Navy." The poster also highlights an immediate promotion for any women enlisting. There are also posters with traditional images on them, men and women working together, illustrating the alliance with the nation as a whole. These posters provided a new visual vocabulary illustrating men and women in relation to each other, the nation, and machines. The importance of masculinity in British recruitment propaganda was changing over time. Illustrating this is the example shown titled, "Are You in This?" After the recruiting campaign accentuating honor, propaganda then became even more graphic, with posters illustrating day-to-day scenarios of war and short phrases directed to the inhumane German acts. The poster "Remember Belgium" from 1914 illustrates a woman and child escaping from a village on fire, painting a clear image that why men worthy of the name had to join in order to protect their families in England from a similar fate. The next poster, "Your Country's Call," depicts a Scottish soldier pointing at a rural country image of village life, threatened by the menace of Germany with the message, "Isn't this worth fighting for? Enlist now." The British recruiting poster campaign was extremely successful, urging men to join the army. By the end of 1915, some 2 million men had volunteered their services. Once a recruiting campaign had run out of euphoria, recruitment propaganda evolved and responded with a new and different strategy or spin for their campaign. World War I propaganda campaigns were led by the government needs. Propaganda utilized the press in a very persuasive manner, connecting with the population and communicating the needs of the country under a very specific context in order to gain national support for the war efforts.